In this video, I'm going to talk about how to set up your calories using the MyFitnessPal app. So here we are in dashboard. So from dashboard, all you need to do is go across to more, which will be in the bottom right hand corner with the three lines. Click on more and then simply just scroll down to the bottom. You'll have all your various settings and you're looking for diary. So click on diary, scroll down to the bottom, hit nutrition. Then from nutrition, you can see where it says goal and it's highlighted in the blue digits. You click on that and you can quite simply change your goal to, whatever it is that your goal is set to. And this will be worked out from your accountability coach. So say 1800, and then you can change your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats, and these are called the macronutrients. This is the macronutrient split, and you can quite simply just change that up and down using these percentages. All right. So once they have been set, you arrow back, and this means now that you're ready to start logging your food. So in order to log your food, for instance, you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You want to be starting off by putting all the protein in first. And this is planned the day or night before, because on the day itself is far too late. So you want to start off with dinner, and with dinner you might want to put in, I'm just picking something at random here, turkey and ham dinner, and then you'd save that, and then all you'd simply do is you arrow back, scroll down to the bottom, hit nutrition, hit nutrients, and then these barcodes light up. So you're trying to match these barcodes up. So you got your protein, your carbs, and your fats, and then you're simply just going back and forth. And then you're going to go into, lunch, and then you're going to get some more protein in there. For talk's sake, some tuna, tick, and then we're just going back and forth. So we're scrolling down to the bottom. We're hitting nutrition, and then we're just trying to match up the protein, the carbs, and the fats as best as possible. So you do the same for your breakfast, another 30 grams, roughly, of protein. So you're putting 30 grams of protein in for dinner, lunch, and breakfast. Then you'll go back to your dinner and put in the rest of what you're having for dinner, the rest of what you're having for lunch, the rest of what you're having for breakfast, and then you put the rest into your snacks. And you'll factor this out for the full week ahead. And if you can stick to this, you are going to put yourself in a really good position to help you get on point with your calorie tracking. So it really is as simple as that. It's as simple as logging your food the night before, playing about with the macronutrients, matching them up, getting them on point. And once you get this up and running, after about 2 to 3 weeks, you will start to really grasp the concept of it, and you'll notice that your body composition results will change. Not only that, you'll start to find you'll have more energy levels, you'll recover better, and ultimately overall you will feel so much better than where you were before you actually started calorie tracking. Hopefully this was helpful.
Okay, so that is how to use MyFitnessPal. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you an example of a MyFitnessPal food diary. All right, so I'm going to share one with you now just to show you exactly how it looks, in real life, so to speak. So give me a wee second and I'll share this with you. Again, I'm going to share screen and uh, I'm going to share Michelle's MyFitnessPal. Michelle is pretty consistent with it, which is why I like to use Michelle. So this is all, the people that I have added on MyFitnessPal. You can add friends on MyFitnessPal. So like the likes of Michelle, this is her MyFitnessPal account. So click in here, go to View Diary. I'm here, and then this is today's food diary. So if I look at the bottom there, she's got 16 grams of protein left. She's 12 grams over the fats, 98 grams of carbs, and 353 calories left, of her total food intake. So you kind of want to give yourself like a 10% leeway either way, either up, under or over, which is absolutely fine, or even 20% under or over as well makes it a wee bit easier. So if you look at Michelle's, just to give you an example of how it works. So like, for her dinner, she's like basically put everything in there. Like, as you can see that it's 35 grams of protein for dinner. She's got 52 grams of protein for her lunch. And then her breakfast has got 9 grams, which is made up for that in the lunch. And then the rest of her food has went into the snacks. You can see how she's done that. Um, kind of rule of thumb as well is that green leafy veg, you don't need to track it. I know Michelle's put that in, but she likes to do that just to keep everything sort of in sync. But for all the calories that you're going to get in the likes of broccoli, spinach, kale, like sort of the leafy type veg, like I wouldn't bother tracking it, but I would eat as much of it as you can. Everything else, fruit and stuff, you would track that. Weighing foods as well. So you kind of want to be like weighing food. If you can't like scan it from a packet, you definitely need to be weighing it. So rule of thumb is if it loses water, you could like weigh it afterwards. So like meat, for instance, if it needs water added to it, you would weigh it in its raw state. Now, there's no like right or wrong with this. It's just about the consistency of it. So you can't like weigh the meat raw like on a Monday and then weigh it cooked, on a Wednesday. Like because it's going to give you two different readings. So you need to pick one method that works for you and stick to it. Okay. So just bear that in mind. And then when you are like adding, so you can add like a member is you can add them through your username and you can just arrow back to whatever day you want. So like there's another example of, Wednesday's meal plan, which was yesterday, and you can see exactly what Michelle has tracked in here. Okay. So um, I'll just try and give you like another example of somebody else's as well, just to give you an idea of how it works. A lot of people think that there's like a hack to it, but it really isn't. It's really just the foods that you want to eat as long as you balance them within that macro split. Um, so let me just get another one up here. Give me 2 seconds. And feel free to add the members as well on MyFitnessPal. They'll be okay with it. So see. I'm gonna go into Scott's, show you his. So Scott's, like as you can see here, everything he's added as well. So like there is some like junk food in there, like the Twixes, the Magnum ice cream, and all the rest of it, just to show you this is actually flexible, this approach. If you go, but yesterday, some he has been pretty consistent. There's just a few days that have been off, but like if you arrow back, you can go to other days there where it is pretty much on point. And it's just to give you some more ideas of how to get different foods in to meet your protein and stuff as well. All right. So those are just examples, okay, of how MyFitnessPal works. What I want to do now then is we're going to use ChatGPT for devising meal plans. So before I go into that, you also have on Trainerize, just to show you, there is an actual option on Trainerize. Has everybody seen it where you can use the meal generator on Trainerize? Has everybody used it or tried it or had a look at it? If you have, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. Okay. Did you know about it? No? Okay. Right, grand job. Let me just go in and have a look at it here. Um, so trainerize. Every second. So just gonna go in now. Okay, so I am just gonna share the screen here. Um, What's that say? Message there. Yeah. There's Sarah has just put her in her MyFitnessPal user account if somebody wants to add her. It's not a bad idea. You just can start adding each other. Job. Okay, so this is an example of how, so basically you're in your dashboard. You can do this on your mobile app. If you go down to, you scroll down, it'll say meal plan here. Okay. This is the meal generator on Trainerize. And whatever your calories is that's set, it'll generate meals for you, 3 a day. You can choose to have 4 a day. You can also change it. There's dietary requirements on it. So you can actually change it if you want. If you're a vegetarian or whatever, you can change that as well. So like, for example, because this is Americanized, some of it like might not really suit your taste, but you can like refresh, you can go get different options in this. Okay. So, if you wanted to have like a smoothie or whatever, it's going to give you like the recipes of how to like make that smoothie. Okay, so that's just to give you an example of that. Um, so that is like an example of how that works. So I just want to go back into this again a wee second. The likes of dinner, like Thai chicken curry, and again, it has like the prep, the calories in it. There's the breakdown, 46 grams of protein, etc., etc. And then, you've got like a wee video, just like sort of demoing how it cooks. So it is useful. You will definitely pick one or two things out of that. So check that out in your Trainerize meal generator. So that's another option for you for getting some meal ideas. And then the other one for you is using ChatGPT. So give me a wee second here. So ChatGPT. Okay, share screen. Okay. So what you want to do here then is you want to type in, you need to be really specific. So it's devise devise meal plan for 1800 calories. Okay, with you need to figure out. So you just go into your MyFitnessPal account and it'll tell you how many grams you have. So you just basically go into the actual food diary itself. So to work out what 1800 calories would be with let me see here. So say it was 1800 calories. You just go into your phone, type in 1800 calories and a 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat. So that would be 180 grams carbs. Let me see, 135 grams of protein and 60 grams of fats. Okay. Over 6 days. British foods only. Okay. Let's see how this looks. So here we go. So day one, you can see that, porridge made with 50 grams of oats, semi-skimmed milk, one medium banana. And then you go down here. It's got like, your lunch, grilled chicken, boiled potatoes, broccoli, a tablespoonful of, olive oil, snacks, cottage cheese, apple, dinner. So that's like day one. And then there's the total breakdown for it. So it's exactly 1800 calories. It's exactly 180 grams of carbs. It's exactly 135 grams of protein and 60 grams of fats. Like, it is so precise. You go down to day two, day three, and so on, scrambled egg, grilled tomato, and so on. Yep. And again, it gives you the breakdown of everything, and it just kind of mixes it up a wee bit for you most days. Um, and then if there's anything there that you don't like, you would just type that into ChatGPT, whatever it is, 6 days, except with the exception of maybe tomatoes or whatever it is that you don't like. And then so you do that like 6 days out of seven, and then on the seventh day, you would either just track your own foods, or you could maybe even give yourself like a free day where you don't track your calories and you just sort of kind of have what you want type thing, like maybe like a takeaway or whatever, and have that like once a week. And if you do that, that'll pretty much keep you consistent with your results, and it'll keep everything moving forward in the right direction for you. So that's definitely one to check out, is the ChatGPT for devising meals. All right. So there is that. Round job. And then I just want to go into a wee bit of a presentation here with you. Okay. So uh, just want to quickly go through some slides here. So um, then afterwards, we'll go into a bit of a Q&A. All right. So you're here. So this is just a wee bit of a PowerPoint that I devised during lockdown. Some of you may have seen this, some of you haven't, and the ones who have seen it, it'll definitely be a nice refresher for you. So I'm just going to fly through this. Okay. So realistically, you want to be getting the balanced diet and developing good habits. It's kind of more beneficial than just hammering out exercise, because eventually what will happen is the exercise will get you so far, and then eventually you'll plateau. So you will have to start getting the diet on point sooner rather than later. All right. So for maximum results, you want to have the exercise on point and the nutrition on point, but keep it sustainable long term by doing, like, the 6 day meal plan with the 1 day where you're free basically, and you had that sort of relaxed day, whatever it is, a takeaway or a drink, or whatever it is you're going to have. Okay. The no long term beneficial outcome with taking shortcuts on nutrition. So if you're going to start like doing things like Atkins diet and all that sort of stuff, and all that will get you a result quick, but it only lasts for so long. And then you've got that like uphill battle again. So if you really want the results to stay like long term, and you don't want to be chasing your tail and, the new year, new me and all that sort of stuff, then you gotta like accept that this is going to take time. But with time, the weight will stay off, and you'll be able to like basically go on a holiday any time of the year and basically be ready, beach ready. This is kind of where this is taking you. All right. The other ways, the quick fixes, the fads, get you, a quick result, but that's all they do. All right. This is a diet cycle reality. You want to start a diet, you start a diet, and then you start restricting yourself. And then when you start restricting yourself, what happens is you start getting cravings. A craving just means you're hungry. And then what happens is then you start feeling guilty because you had that Chinese on a Tuesday night, or you had that glass of red wine on a Wednesday night, and you're just like, well, do you know what? Screw it. Then you're like failed with limited results, start spinning your wheels for, weeks, months, some cases years, some cases never, waiting to get back on the wagon again. Okay, so that's how it works. And then there's also, the social and psychological impact of nutrition. So some people like use food as a reward system, which is not a bad thing. At the weekend, you've trained hard all week and diet's been good. You want to have something nice to eat, albeit okay. But what you don't want to be doing is kind of like restricting food groups, like cutting carbs out and things like that as well, because that's kind of like the quickest way to like having to go back up again. All right. So you want to be keeping like as much balance as possible with your diet. Emotional eating. So that's like sort of like stress eating. Some people can't eat when they're stressed. Other people like reach for sugar and things for comfort. All right. And then boredom eating, like during lockdown, obviously that was massive. I'm not really going to go into this too much about dysfunctional eating. I want to move on a wee bit. Equilibrium. So basically what that is whenever you like go on a bit of a binge, like at the weekend or whatever, and you stand on the scales on a Monday, your scale will go up. But after 3 to 5 days of returning back to normal eating and movement patterns, your body is basically going like this, and then it meets in the middle. That's called your equilibrium. After a week's holiday of all inclusive, you come back and you've put on 7, 8, 9 pounds. 3 to 5 days later, if you return back to your normal eating and movement patterns, you will find that weight will have dropped off again. That's your equilibrium kicking in. So the worst thing you can do when you come back after a binge or whatever is start starving yourself, because all that does is slow down your metabolism. What you're better off doing instead is actually using those extra sugars and transferring that energy into your workouts at the gym. That's what you're better off doing. Knowing and having the confidence that the equilibrium is going to kick in anyway, and you might as well use those extra sugars to smash out workouts, get stronger, get fitter, and all the rest of it. So that's kind of my advice to you, and it's kind of getting into that mentality and that mindset. Um, yeah, involuntary and uncontrollable action. So, like, walking into supermarkets hungry, walking past the bread aisle, which will always be at the door. You'll always find it little. It'll always have all that stuff at the door to get you to buy it. So just be careful when you're going into supermarkets. Know that you're not going in absolutely starving, because you will end up buying all the junk, more so than what you would normally do. No expert on this. Going to leave this with you, obviously, but that's just to let you know that, like, there will be weeks within that month that there will be differences there. Cravings will be higher, which again means you're hungry. It might mean that you might need more carbs. Do you know what I mean? Because carbs is what's going to satisfy you. Okay. But just embracing those weeks and knowing, like, they're not the best weeks to be doing measurements, they're not the best weeks to be doing progress pictures, and they're certainly not the best weeks to be measuring your progress against. Okay, so I'm not going to get into all this either. Just want to kind of get to a couple of ones. Metabolic adaptation. So basically, that happens whenever you cut calories. So say for instance you're on 2,000 calories and that's your maintenance, you go to 1,800, you'll lose weight, and then it'll plateau, and then you drop to 1,600, you'll plateau 14. Before you know it, you're in a race to the bottom, and the only way is up. Okay, so um, that's basically your body is adapting. Okay. Same as you ever do, like, a fad diet, like Slimming World or whatever, you'll get a good result the first time you do it. And if you go to try and do it the second time round, you'll never get the same result that you got the first time. Same if you do Atkins diet and all those ones, you'll never ever get the same result the second time round. That's your body's metabolic adaptation kicking in. It's there to help you survive. So bear that in mind. Um, the more you try a fad diet, or the more you try to restrict calories, the the less of a result that you will get from it. Okay. So what I would be suggesting to do, instead of taking those measures, is, instead of reducing calories, the best thing to do for you is to move more. Like, literally move more. So people say to me, "Oh, I want to drop my calories because I want to lose weight." But it was like, as soon as you start dropping calories, you have to start increasing them again. So you're better off just moving more. And it's as simple as that. Okay. Once you start going below like 1,600 calories, you're in serious breach of a rebound. You really are. You really want to be staying above that. 16, 1,800, even so, like 2,000 calories will serve, quite a lot of us. Okay. Especially if you're exercising hard 3 times a week. You're pretty busy on your feet and all the rest of it. Between 1,800, 2,000, in some cases 2,200 calories a day is going to be what serves most of us. Okay. So just bear that in mind, that, like calorie deficits isn't always the way forward. Sometimes people actually need to increase their calories because they're fatigued. Their job is mentally draining. There's so many different factors in it that it's not always just a case of calorie deficit, calorie deficit, calorie deficit. And that's where I come into play, and I help you on a weekly basis, where you connect with me. You let me know how you're feeling. You let me know how your energy levels are doing, and then we can tweak, because this isn't a one size fits all when it comes to nutrition. Uh, Okay. Other ways as well is you can actually bank calories. So say, for instance, you're on 2,000 calories a day, you could bank 200 calories Monday to Friday. So there's 1,000 calories banked. And then on a Saturday, you could add 1,000 calories on. So there's 3,000 calories, which would allow you to get your Chinese, or you could split it over the 2 days, the Saturday and the Sunday, give yourself 2,500 calories each, and then go for like a calories only weekend, no macros. And again, that just gives you a bit of freedom of not having to get that 130 grams of, protein, etc., etc. It gives you a bit of a mental break as well. So that's other ways that you can do that. Um, Macros is macronutrients. It's just a shortened term for it. That's the carbs, the protein, and the fats. Carbs are not the enemy. That's actually what gives you your energy. Protein helps fill you for longer, and also helps give you lean muscle mass and gives you that nice shape that you want, so your clothes actually look better on you. And then fats are important, and they won't make you fat as long as you have them within moderation. All right. So carbs are, you've got like 4 calories per gram, protein's 4 calories per gram, and fats are they're 9 calories per gram. So they're like over double what the carbs and the protein are. That's why you have to be very sparse with the fats to make sure that, because you can go over, like, for instance, like a handful of nuts could be like 3, 4, maybe 500 calories without even realizing it, even though you think you're eating healthy, right? So that's just examples of carbs, proteins, and fats. Recommended. This is a government guideline. Women 2,000, men 2.5, but that is all dependent. You could have a woman who's 6 foot. You could have a man who's 5 foot. Therefore, the calorie range would be reversed. It's not going to be. It's not going to be exact. Calorie tracking using MyFitnessPal is the way that I do it. I find it's the most effective. It requires a bit of work, but it definitely gets the results. You don't have to track calories forever, by the way, but I do think if you're new to calorie tracking, you do need to do it for at least 6 months, 6 to 12 months. And then afterwards, you'll be able, pretty much be able to look at a plate and go, that's 60 grams of chicken breast. That's whatever, X, Y, and Z. You'll be able to actually just look at it. And then by that point, your metabolism will be so fired up. What'll actually happen is you'll actually be able to turn over more food. So say, for instance, you're like kind of your maintenance was like 2000 calories, if you keep tracking calories and stuff and training, eventually you could probably actually go up to eating like 2200, 2300, and actually get leaner. And the reason being is because you're going to then increase your protein to match the total calorie count. So say you're on a 40-30-30 split, you will have to increase your protein to match the total calories. And the protein has like a thermogenesis effect out of all the macros. So basically, whenever your protein is on point, you heat up more, you sweat more. It also is the most dense out of all the macros. So it means that your body has to use the most amount of calories to break protein down. That's why it's so important. That's why it's something that we really emphasize on if you're looking to lose weight. You really have to be getting the protein in and making the effort to put it in into your diary. All right. So this is just the split that I use: 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fats. It's the most sustainable approach that I use. How to work out your calories? It's body weight in pounds times 10 times your energy expenditure. So if you train like up to 3 times per week, you times it by 1.375. If you train like, more than 3 times a week, like say 3 to 5, you times it by 1.55. And if you're like maybe like endurance, so say for instance, you're doing like maybe 10K runs, or you're maybe doing like long bike rides and stuff on top of it, you would maybe times it by 1.6. But not many people here would need to be timesing it by 1.6. Only very few people. So kind of stick to the 1.375. Then if you want to lose weight, you minus 10% off that. So it's body weight in pounds times 10, times it by 1.375 is your total calories, minus 10% off that. So that's you instantly into a calorie deficit. Then you can go down and you can drop again another 10%, which means you'd be into a 20% calorie deficit. And then that's starting to get into like that kind of aggressive, calorie deficit zone. Now, some people, their total calories may be, you know, a lot higher. It may be like, 2,700. And that's a lot of food for somebody to turn over, especially whenever it's balanced food. It's really, really difficult. So in what cases, what I would do is I would start them lower, 1,600, get them up to 1,700, 1,800, and build them up slowly so that they're able to turn over that amount of a volume of food first, as opposed to going, right, here's 2,500 calories. That's, calorie deficit, because it's really hard for somebody to do that. Okay. So there is ways and means to do it. It's not a one size fits all. And that's where I come into play to help you. Okay. And just with communication on a weekly basis on that as well. So tips to manipulate calories is banking calories, which we just talked about. Intermittent fasting is basically skipping breakfast, which means then you've got a shorter window to consume your food, which means then you can have bigger meals. And that's the way I do it. I do intermittent fasting most days. Some mornings like I'm feeling a wee bit sort of hungry, or I'm a bit fatigued or whatever, and I'll eat something. So I don't intermittent fast religiously every day, but most days I do. And what I actually find is that it means that I can get to enjoy like bigger dinners. I can actually have more snacks and things like that. And it actually really suits me, and it works really well for me. So I've tried it. It works well for me. It might work well for you. Try it. If you like it, perfect. If you don't, you don't have to stick with it. And then weekends, calories only. That's kind of what I do as well. Stick to calories only. It's I wouldn't be like trying to hit protein targets or whatever. I would just sort of have like more of a relaxed weekend, which I advise, everybody to do. Recommended supplements. So there is no magic pill or potion or anything like that. Because remember, anything that you do to kind of like interfere with your fat loss that isn't natural, like i.e. exercise and through nutrition, if you're taking like fat burners and things like that, it's basically a short-term fix, which is going to end up with an uphill battle later on, spinning your wheels back to that diet reality cycle sort of thing again. Do you know what I mean? So you're better off just playing the long game, moving more, reducing your food intake, eating healthily, relatively, Monday to Friday, and then the weekends relaxing a wee bit and not going on binges every single weekend. Now, there will be weekends where you have to go out and stuff, and that's absolutely fine. There will be the odd time you'll get invited out for, a dinner midweek. And again, it's absolutely fine. As long as you're not doing it every single week, it's not going to affect the results. Fish oil is good as well. It helps with fat loss. It also helps with inflammation of the joints. Digestive enzymes are good for bloating, especially if you're out like a Christmas do or whatever. Like you get them out of Holland Barrett and they're really, really good for that. Okay, so um, I'm going to stop sharing. Um, okay.